What's something you did during sex that was so stupid you still facepalm about it today? Sex with a bald girl. I'm hitting from the back and I'm super horny, and in the moment I couldn't think of an alternative to hair pulling, so I just grabbed her head like a fucking basketball. She starts dying laughing immediately. This was a bit of a misunderstanding, but when my boyfriend and I first got together, I was going to give him a blowjob, so I took the gum out of my mouth and I thought I put it in the trash bin. I did not. After we finished, I went to the bathroom and saw gum all over my hair. It was still in my hand when I put my hair up with a hair tie. So I said, man, this takes me back to my childhood, referring to the gum stuck in my hair. When I walked back into his room, his face had changed from happy bliss to complete concern. After a pause, he finally says he was so sorry and that we didn't have to do that again. He hadn't seen the gum in my hair. He thought I was talking about a childhood filled with blowjobs. Once we figured out the mix-up, he was still a bit shaken by my childhood. So I met this girl at a bar one night. She had very vibrantly red hair. So I end up going home with her, all was well. We exchanged numbers and I left, so we meet up again and her hair is bluer than the sky, so I say, oh shit, I like the new hair color. So she proceeds to tell me they are wigs. She had destroyed her hair and shaved it off, so now wigs. The facepalm is one night she's giving me oral. I look over and there's two different wigs next to me. I still don't know what possessed me to do it, but I took the one on her head off and naturally put a different one on. Well, I'm a French guy and it was like the third time I had sex in English, so not my mother tongue. The girl was asking for me to spank her really bad, but it wasn't enough. She was on my bed, ass up, face down. I looked at my belt on my desk and said to myself, yeah, this will do the trick. So I asked her this stupid question, do you want me to use my seatbelt? She stopped moaning and then looked back and stared at me. At that moment, I realized what I just said, and I swear I could see in her eyes that she wondered how I would get a fucking car in my room to spank her with a seatbelt. Was really funny, though. On my honeymoon, my now ex-husband and I decided to get drunk, eat snacks, and watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. While doing so, we started fooling around and trailed off to the bedroom to finish what we started. While I started going down on him, I noticed he was squirming and saw him wincing when I looked up. I asked him what was the matter, to which he replied, "It burns." And it was only then I realized I had just been snacking on extra flaming hot Cheetos right before. After rushing to get a wet cloth and repeatedly apologizing, I couldn't stop laughing at the fact that I just gave my new husband a flaming hot blowjob. My boyfriend at the time was trying to take my tight jeans off and struggling mightily to get them over my hips. I lifted my hips up to assist with the process, and the jeans came off quickly and he flew backwards and hit his head on the wall. It was absolutely hilarious, and I laughed. He did not find it equally funny, and sexy times were put off so he could nurse his head injury and his pride. My husband was trying to talk dirty to me and finished a sentence calling me a silly goose. Sex was postponed for a good 15 minutes while I laughed my ass off. Calling me a silly goose, I'm gonna make you honk so hard. My girlfriend a while ago liked to do the ice cube, cup of tea, blowjob trick. One night we didn't have any ice cubes, only a bag of frozen peas. She went down on me with a mouthful, and it turns out that peas in the mouth defrost really fast. After about 20 secs, she choked and coughed blowjob mushy peas all over me and my new sheets. Improvise, adapt, overcome. First time I saw a penis, I was like, wow, so that's it. I meant like, wow, it's actually there. Here it is. But he understood it like it wasn't big or something. Like, where's the rest of it?
No, why, poor guy.
In college, my girlfriend was riding me in my dark bedroom summer night. She was vigorously gyrating that I could feel her sweat dripping on me. Afterward, we kissed and cuddled. When we turned on the light, we discovered she had had a bloody nose and her blood was all over my neck and chest. One girl I was with in high school was on top and I had to fart real bad. I wasn't sure what to do, so I just fried to hold it in. She started to get more into it and picked up the pace, which caused a series of tiny rhythmic farts every time she came down. It sounded like a machine gun. She stopped and asked if I farted, and I blamed the squeaky bed. She knew. I asked my boyfriend to talk dirty to me. In the middle of sex, he starts saying in my ear, fuck you, I let it happen, and afterwards burst out laughing, telling him to never do that again. Getting hot and heavy with my GF in bed, making out and getting ready to start the main event. We're whispering back and forth to each other when I say, "I want to be inside you." To which she immediately responded, "What? What did you say?" After a very confusing moment, I realized she thought I said, "I want to pee inside you." It kind of killed the mood. Ugh, fucking autocorrect almost made me post this as getting hot and heavy with my grandfather in bed. Glad I'm a paranoid proofreader. I farted while getting a blowjob. I'm sorry I couldn't hold it in any longer. Oh, I feel this one. First time my husband and I had sex, I farted right as I orgasmed. He had the good character to pretend he didn't notice. So we just started to have normal sex. After a while, he probably thought it was sexy or whatever to ask me in a disguised voice how I want him to fuck me. Yeah. Well, that different sounding voice just confused me in that moment so much that I just blankly stared at him for a couple of seconds without either of us saying anything until I started to choke on my own saliva and we had to take a break so I could drink something. It was awkward, very. Edit. First of all, are you serious? My most upvoted comment is about me choking on my own saliva. For the people asking, with normal sex, I just meant sex. Sorry for my weird wording. And no, he didn't impersonate anyone. Not that I know of. It was just that high-pitched, kind of shaky voice. While his normal voice is really deep, and that's why I was so confused. I was nervous around my first college crush. After a few weeks of talking, I finally got her into my room. We were on my bed making out, getting touchy-feely. I realized pretty quickly that she wasn't wearing any panties under her short shorts. I looked down and said, "I can see your vag, AJ." She laughed awkwardly, said she had to go, and we never spoke romantically again. I did a porn audition. I was all ready, but meant to get my nails done beforehand. I looked at Walmart for a quick solution and found glue on acrylic nails. I had never used them before, but the box said they'd hold up to 2 weeks. Fast forward to the audition, and it started off with me masturbating on the couch. I was rubbing my clit, and I felt the nails start to pop off one by one. I tried not to panic and go with it. When I moved my hand, I had a bunch of false nails stuck to my vagina. He was recording the whole time. I awkwardly laughed and asked to take them off and redo the shoot. But the embarrassment affected my performance, and I just came off as extremely awkward. I got an email a few days later thanking me, for they had not laughed like that in a long time. They said they didn't think I'd fit the part, but asked if they could pay me for the segment to use in, for lack of a better term, a blooper reel. I haven't auditioned anywhere else since, and don't plan to. Pretty much ruined it for me. But at least I can laugh about it now instead of being completely mortified. She was laying on me on my couch in a kind of 69 position. Her shorts were pulled down, and I was just kind of grabbing her ass and getting closer to her vagina, rubbing and all that. Then I noticed this string and thought it was a thread from her panties. So I naturally wanted to grab it and tear it off. I grab it and give a slight tug and say, "You have a string." I never saw a girl pull her pants up quicker in my life. I knew she was on her period, but I wasn't even thinking. I instantly hugged her tightly and said, "Oh no, I'm sorry." And we just laughed for the next 10 minutes. She was more embarrassed than I was, but goddamn, I felt stupid. I'm just glad we laughed and hugged it off. Freshman year of college, got to drinking with some of our dorm mates and went to a concert. One of them was pretty into me, and we were dancing and hooking up and then decided to go back to our dorm to hook up. We were leaning over like halfway off the bed and making out. Her back was arched over the bed, and I scooted too far forward and literally flipped her heels overhead off of the bed and onto her plastic nightstand, smashing it. We carried on and got things done. But in the morning, I had to take her to the walk-in clinic because she was in pain and both of her dermal piercings came out, and it was gross. She also got stabbed by the broken plastic from the nightstand. Turns out she broke 2 ribs. So yeah, I basically suplexed a girl and still got laid. When I came, my upper body froze up and I drooled on her face. I felt the spit making its way out and I couldn't move my arms or body. This happened twice with the same girl.